Did you know that the Eternal Woods is approximately 7,651 square meters, which is about the same size as this stadium I found in Albuquerque while on Google Maps? So I mean, yeah, that's kind of funny when you really think about it. But that's just silly. I'm just mentioning it because I mean that means that Buffpup is lying to you, is lying to me, is lying to everybody. I mean, are you trying to tell me that this big tree is not the size of this mountain and you are this tiny in comparison to me? Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's gonna kill us all. Lord accurate way of beating a VTuber, the Buffpup. Now boys, let's just get this out of the way, right? I was wrong, I gotta apologize, right? Because in the short version of the LAWBV, I basically stated that she was just like an oversized bear, right? Just like a big bad wolf, a 950 should do the trick, right? I was wrong. There are a couple of things that are kind of fishy right off the bat, right? So we will get into that later, but let's just say that this whole thing stinks of fey magic. Or maybe not, but more on that later. So yeah, now that I am doing a proper entry on how to handle this puppy, no need to hold back. I'm going in deep. We will be talking about Abrahamic religions, maybe Nordic, Scottish, Irish folklore, maybe a little bit of Turkish, and well, yeah, popular belief, and my personal theories. In order to defeat your enemy, you must first know the enemy. And let me tell you something, she ain't just your regular Johnny, she's not a normal lycanthrope. I don't believe that for a second. And I will tell you why. And by watching this video, you will agree on using this knowledge only if the subject on the video becomes a threat to humanity. If you fail to honor this contract, something very funny will happen near your pelvic area. Deal? Wonderful. Then let's begin to uncover the secrets of the Eternal Woods, the Dark Forest, and whatever the fuck is this pink rabbit. I bet you're thinking to yourself, well, I mean, Marte, isn't she just a werewolf? I mean, silver bullet to the heart, right? And listen, this requires more intel. What is the nature of the beast inside of her? I mean, do you know? I don't know. She a mutant? Maybe she has been cursed by a deity? Is she a witch? Hocus pocus baba yaga ya? I don't know. Do you know? I don't think so. You don't know nothing. Mutant theory. No way, bro. Come on. I actually made a very deep explanation as to why that wouldn't make any sense for no reason really, and it was too long, so I mean, yeah, let's just move on. You might be thinking to yourself, well, Mart, you're right. She cannot be a werewolf, they only become like that when they are exposed to the full moon, and it's an excruciatingly painful process that could kill a Somalian child right on the spot if they ever saw it. That is not necessarily true. And while not necessarily wrong either, let me put it this way. Early Christianity and werewolves, you know, had a lot to do with, haha, you guessed it, the devil. For man has been made in the image of God, and altering its design would be altering the will of God. And those that have been blessed, or well, cursed really, with the power of the one that opposes God, enjoyed it a lot. In their nature there was sin. It was never a struggle between the human and the beast. What they lacked in physical retaliation, they got in soul corruption. But be not deceived by their appearances, even when they transformed back into their human clot. They were still monsters. So yeah, there is a lot of association between werewolves and the left-hand path, right? Witchcraft and indulging the beast within, right? Becoming more beast than man. And come on, there is a very big difference between a man that went out of his way to acquire this forbidden power and knowledge in order to become a beast of the night, and a curse. And if we're talking about curses, we have to talk about the father of lycanthropy himself, King Lycaon, King of Arcadia. Is he the father of the Buffpup? Definitely not. but I wanna prove a point. Being cursed by a deity, a god from a pantheon, is kinda tricky, you know? Because sometimes they are silly little goofs, sometimes they are fucking psychopaths. So yeah, sometimes you just kinda get cursed into being something that you clearly don't wanna be right now, and then you just gotta do something mildly inconvenient like killing all of your family, or you just gotta face your fears, a test of resolve. I mean, yeah, it kind of depends. And in the case of Lycaon, I mean, he was kind of a bad boy, you know? He was being accused of being a cannibal, so Zeus himself got there, and he was all like, "Yo, Zeus, what's up, my guy? What do you want from me?" And then Zeus was all like, "Well, I've heard that you were a bad boy." And then he was all like, "Well, that's nonsense. I mean, do you want a plate of this beautiful fresh meat?" And Zeus was all like, "Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, this tastes wonderful. What is it?" And then Lycaon was all like, "Oh yeah, this is my son." So yeah, Zeus turned him into a wolf. I guess that is a punishment that fits the crime. I mean, don't ask me, I don't know. There is a lot of association between incredible levels of violence and blasphemy and becoming a wolf in folklore. Thankfully, the Buffpup is the complete opposite of that. Right? But that presents another problem on itself, because I mean, clearly she's not a witch. I don't think that she even knows how to cast a spell. Then we have the cursed theory, but then why and how and ever since when? Keep that in mind while we continue with the next theory. She was born this way. Now, I'm not from around here, right? But clearly I can see that there is a phenomena with like monster girls, that being a subgroup, a subspecies of basically every monster around. So, I'm not an expert, right? But I found this book. It's called The Monster Girl Encyclopedia, and I'm sure that it's gonna be wonderful for this occasion. Now, I'm gonna open it for the first time, and I'm gonna see what it has to say about werewolves. I'm sure that this is gonna be amazing. Holy I mean, I see a lot of similarities when it comes to appearances, but then, I mean, looking at the behavioral aspect of things, that's where the cookie crumbles, right? I mean, I know that a lot of you maybe... Let's just move on. But I mean, since we're already on the Monster Girl Encyclopedia, I can also mention that, well, there is also another type of beastman in here, another entry that looks very similar to the more canine version of Buffpup. Is the entry for the Kushi, but I mean, come on, who made this? That is not a Kushi! Unless you're a part of like a weird family of the Doniashi, but... What am I saying, man? I just turned me a place on Ifrin. Thank you very much, Buffpup. I hope that you are feeling good about yourself. But anyways, Fey magic. When it comes to the similarities between the Kushi and the Buffpup, not that many, not really. I mean, the main difference, right, is that Buffpup was this big, whale-like creature, humanoid, just a cutie pie, dressed like a killing machine, right? Meanwhile, the Kushid is just a straight up a demon. Well, not a demon, it's a fairy dog, right? But still, the thing it's called the Harbinger of Death. Woof, woof, woof on the third bark. Everybody that hears it, it's dead. Free game, non-redeemable. Shoo. We don't like this here. And as far as I'm concerned, the Kushid also cannot change its form, it's just a big green dog, so yeah. But I still wanted to mention the Fey magic because of the pink rabbit, because it's a pink rabbit. And maybe on the surface it may look like the pink rabbit was the reason as to why the Buffpup became the way she is, but there is no information about this thing, and there is nothing to compare it to, nor any sort of like external source from anything, so it just... I'm not gonna lie to you, man, I mean, I got nothing on this thing. It may look like the most obvious answer on that perspective, but I mean, hold on. I still got some things that I wanna show you in order to explain why the Buffpup became the Buffpup. In the meantime, may I offer you the Wolver on these trying times? Furry humanoids with the head of a wolf, described as benevolent, and also they are trying to live among humans by giving them presents just like fish or that sort of stuff. Does that sound familiar? And there are also accounts that say that they are born that way, so it's its own species. Problem: they don't morph. Speaking of being born a furry, there is also the story of Asena, which basically she was a she-wolf in Turkish mythology, and well, there was this boy that had a battle and then almost died. The wolf appeared out of nowhere to nurse the boy back into full health, right? And yeah, as a big thank you, the boy impregnated the wolf, and the wolf gave birth to 10 half-wolf, half-human boys, which then would form the Ashina tribe. So yeah, maybe Buffpup Turkish confirmed, cannot confirm nor deny. But hey, keep that into consideration. With a little bit of divine intervention, a lot of things are possible. Which, I mean, the Buffpup doesn't know who her parents are. So maybe there is a little bit more than just a little bit of divine intervention. Now that we have a more stable ground to dance and theorize, let's talk about what we truly know. We don't have many feats of strength, but I mean, she definitely ranks above a bear, which is nothing to laugh about. She could probably still kill you in 3 seconds, boy! And her clothing, that tells me a whole story, right? And we can use this to dissect her mannerisms or the way she sees us humans, right? I can imagine her going towards the village and just seeing a doll of wearing a collar, right? And that make her believe that maybe if she had one too, they would accept her as a pet, I guess. Or maybe as a disguise. I don't know which is funnier, to be honest, but I mean, yeah, clearly it didn't work. I wonder why. After that, she got captured, obviously. She got chained for a while, and then she broke free from her chains. Raw strength right there. She escaped, but not before stealing the clothing of the baddest shorty on the village. Which, just imagine being her for a second. The whole village is chasing down a werewolf wearing your clothes. Think about that for a second. Yeah, she's gone. Oh, she's gone. Why did she steal the clothes? I mean, I don't know. Maybe she wanted to blend in with the crowd after her escape, which, I mean, yeah, she has 0 awareness capabilities. A fool. But a fool with a heart of gold. Despite everything, she tried not to harm any human. How lovely. She's got a pretty big scar on her back, probably because of a gunshot wound, and she survived that on the wild. So yeah, she's pretty resilient, I will say. Maybe with a little bit of superhuman regeneration, but not top-notch, I will say. I would bet my life on it. Forget that, I'm not gonna bet my life on it. And for me, the most mysterious of her capabilities. The shape-shifting. Because I mean, are we really not gonna mention the big difference between this and this? She doesn't say anything about it. I mean, are we just supposed to ignore it? Maybe she was like the Beauty and the Beast, right? Maybe the real beauty is on the other side. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna punch me in 2 words. Pink rabbit. The only creature on the forest that basically just did not give a fuck about the Buffpup and decided to cuddle. And by doing so, it showed the whole place that she is not a demon, she is in fact a cutie pie. And right after that, she became more human than beast. Ain't that right? Let's recap. Werewolves are most commonly associated with killers, humans that are more animal than they are humans. Not always the case, like with the wolfbear, but I want to emphasize this. There is a very clear distinction between the eternal woods and the dark forest. In that sense, it almost looks like every wolf in the dark forest is unnaturally more aggressive. And she was born there, right? So I mean, she was feeding into all of that negativity, all of that aggression, all of the screams, all of the... Well, yeah, clearly she was born more wolf than human, but there was still something inside of her that made her more human-like, you know, like walking on 2 legs and stuff. Almost like if there were 2 wolves fighting in her psyche. What do I mean by this? It is only after the creatures of the Eternal Woods start giving her more sympathy and she starts to feel loved and the family and all of that pretty stuff that she starts to resemble a human, right? There is a very big difference, and maybe she hasn't even noticed that this change has happened. Maybe she doesn't even realize that now she looks like this instead of this. Sorry, bozos, I'm not a furry. Maybe that is the reason as to why she doesn't even mention it and only us as outsiders can notice it. Which would mean that the extent of her abilities is limited to the state of her mind. I'm gonna kill that pink rabbit. They did it on purpose. It was a fake out. I would bet good money that the reason as to why she didn't go full werewolf was because she still knew that there was something outside of the dark forest, and she knew that there was something else more than just pure violence, guts, screams and all that. She knew that there were humans outside that lived in families. There were still other creatures in the eternal wood that did not look like this just pack of absolute maniacs on 4 legs. I'm doing a lot of wolf slander here, but I mean, come on, just look at that. That is not a normal wolf. It's a thing that lives on the dark forest where screams are heard every night and terror lurks on every corner. Come on! The nature of her affliction, if you can even call it that really, the way she becomes more human when she feels more accompanied, it's the antithesis of the natural werewolf, right? That lets all of the anger, violence and hunger. Once we lose our humanity, it is almost like a parallel. Maybe she was not a human that became a wolf, maybe she was a wolf that became a human. But one thing is for sure, she is not any type of conventional lycanthrope, not that I know at the very least. Which I mean, means that we have to improvise. There is no magical kryptonite, no cheat code. So yeah, let's bring her hell on the old-fashioned way. We already know that her feeling loved makes the Buffpup that, well, we all love, right? But imagine if she loses all of her friends, every anchor to her newfound humanity, leaving only the sorrow, the anger, the peace, the hunger, the fear. What will she become then? Oh yeah, we're talking werewolf on steroids, boy. I mean, when she was just afraid of everything, she was already stronger than a bear and was able to survive getting shot on the wild. Now, her getting angry. So let's make a strategy accordingly. Now listen, my boy, anything less than a .243 Winchester might just leave you hanging out to dry. So if you're aiming for something serious, you better get yourself something better, or at a minimum use soft points for that extra expansion, though I mean I wouldn't really bet my luck on it. Now, if you're looking for that sweet spot, I'd say go for the WEREPUP Mark V with a 270 WB wide mag or an AR-10, loaded of course with some polymer tip bullets, 308 of course, and well, the WEREPUP gives you a good bit of range, so I'd reckon that might be useful for you. But if you're feeling a little daring, you might want to tangle with the Krieghoff Classic side-by-side double rifle. Well, let me tell you better hope she's close enough to make you worried if you're gonna take a shot with this thing. With the 500 Nitro Express if you are fixing for a proper showdown. Now me, I prefer the big hitters. Give me a J-Pace Howard & Son Model 3000 with some .3006 Springfield rounds. Now we're talking. This here beauty can also be used as a shotgun, and let me tell ya, it will deliver one nasty punch with that 12 gauge barrel. But you gotta tread lightly, my boy, because you only got one shot with a rifle before you are reaching for that reload. So better keep that trigger finger steady. You might have already noticed, but this is not exactly the loadout for, well, an assault team. If you're planning on going in there Rambo style, not even knowing the terrain of the forest, I mean, oh, you're gone. You're gonna gone. No. We gotta do this by the rules. The hunter must become the hunted. Regardless of her behavior, she is still bound to the laws of nature. So, let's take a look at the bodies of water. She's gonna have to eventually go out and drink something, most probably in the dark forest. But hey, maybe she doesn't like that place, maybe she hates the dark forest, maybe she's gonna go there where there is nothing and you can just take a shot like if nothing ever happened. We can always pray. She's still gonna leave some footprints. You can track those, but that goes both ways. We are working under the assumption that she doesn't know that we are already there, so let's keep it that way. Cover your scent and be aware of the wind. I mean, there is still a human settlement over there, but they don't usually venture into the dark forest, I imagine. So if she catches your scent there, that's gonna be bad. You're still autonomous. How do you wanna do this? I mean, it really all boils down to how patient are ya? You could try to lure her out on the up and during the day, but I mean, I still think that even as a beast, she has a little bit of gray matter in there, so she probably will know that there is foul play involved. You know what I always say? High risk, high reward, baby. Let me tell you what I will do. Pro tip: if you ever wanna have a romantic date with a woman, you better do it at night. And what's more romantic than you, high caliber ammunition, and a Fox Pro hijack with TX 1000 remote? Now that's sexy. Remember, they say that you can hear screams in the dark forest every night, so using the Fox Pro wouldn't be that sassy. Baka. Still, just entering the forest could compromise the whole entire operation. She was the guardian of these lands, so I just have this feeling, right, that she will somehow know when somebody enters her territory. So I will just try my luck at the edge of the forest. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? And then I would place that Fox Pro right behind me. Oh yeah. Your back facing the plains, and obviously camouflage is a must. Use the bushes like the way God intended. You will also need a very strong light. Just trust me, okay? And once you're ready, then you start playing with that Fox Pro. Play the sound of an injured animal. There are two options. She's either remembering her time as a protector of these lands, or she's hungry. And if you're feeling really daring, make it a rabbit. So how about we take a look and see how the ideal scene would look like. Yeah, take position, lure her out, flashbang her, take the shot. Really not that complicated. But I mean, animals are dumb. This would work on an animal, she's not an animal, and very rarely do things go just as planned. But I mean, there is really no other way around it. Hunter versus Hunter, if you do anything else, well, basically you're in for a treat. If you alert her by going all loco style, she's gonna know exactly how to fuck you up. This is her turf. So you gotta play by the rules. Oh, I'm so sad. Sad about the possibility of this being just one day. Oh, the horror. Anyways, notice how we still don't even know what the nature of what she really is. She could very well be a daughter of the forest, the incarnation of the dissonance between darkness and light on that narrow strip of woodland. The limits to her shape-shifting abilities is yet to be known. How angry will she need to be in order to become so strong that she could bend metal like nothing, grow the size of a mountain, bark so loud that whenever somebody just hears it, it just explodes? Is that even a possibility? Too many questions unanswered for now, but you're more welcome to give it a try though. But regardless of how you feel about your chances, my boy, remember, if she ever goes berserk, you know who to call.